We're live up the top here. Great.
Okay,
We're live. Here we go.
we are
Let's
live.
refresh.
Good morning or afternoon, all. I'm Tony
Yes.
Fuller, and that's Chris Jansen. We're with eXp Realty, and we're here today to give you an overview and explain, as it were, about eXp Realty in Australia and just how the model functions and what it is, the important points you need to consider. Hopefully, answer a lot of the questions that you may have that come up. So, over to you, Chris.
Fantastic. So by way of introduction, I'm Chris Jansen. I'm the proud country leader for eXp Realty here in Australia, but I'm just an agent that still transacts on the ground, supporting our members as part of our eXp Realty community. I've been with eXp Realty since 2019. Prior to that, I was in a franchise model. I've only ever moved my entire real estate business and life and world as I know it once, and I never plan to move again. So today we just want to share with you some of the perks of considering, I guess, or being open-minded about a cloud-based model such as ours. So just as a bit of an overview, our company was founded by our visionary CEO and founder, Glenn Sanford, back in 2009. So we are by no means a startup. We haven't just flown in overnight. We've been in operation for quite some time. Glenn considers himself to be more of a marketer and tech person, more so than a real estate transactional agent, but realized early on the traditional models that he had been a part of himself too didn't really put the agent at the top. So he wanted to create something that absolutely at the forefront was the agent having the ability to create more income opportunities outside of just commissions, listing and dying, but also having equity and a retirement plan. So in 2009, eXp was, I guess, born as a cloud-based company in the United States. In 2000, actually, I'll share a bit of the timeline in the comments here, Tony, as well, in the chat, so people can just grab that. We do actually have a timeline, a website dedicated to our journey and timeline since 2009, which is there's a lot that's happened in that time, let me tell you. So, but initially we started in America, then we expanded into Canada, and then around about 2019, when I partnered in Australia, that's where they opened up country 3 and 4, which was United Kingdom and Australia being the fourth country. If we fast forward to 2024 now, Tony, as you know, we're in 24 countries. We've got 3 more opening up in 2025. That takes up to 27 countries, and we're nearing 90,000 agents globally. We are a publicly listed and traded company on the NASDAQ. You can look at our stock code EXPI, and we're very privileged because 50% of the model is owned by its agents on the ground that is doing the listing, doing the heavy lifting and the work. We're an agent-centric company. Our client is the agent. We are not in the business of acquiring sellers or buyers. We are there to support transactional agents to be able to prospect, list, market, negotiate, and transact. So that's a little bit of an intro on our company and who we are. Tony, let's talk a little bit about, you and I talk to a lot of industry agents. You've come from a traditional environment. I've come from a traditional office environment. What are some of the reasons that you find on a daily basis that agents consider eXp Realty on their option list when they're looking at making a move?
Yeah, there's a raft of different reasons for those watching this video. You know, you'll have your own, but some of the ones that are probably the most repeated that we hear, a lot of agents are looking to go to independent to open their own office or their own business, but the costs of doing that have become very just enormous in setting up offices, fit outs, window displays, technology, computers, and all the rest of it. So that traditional office model is dying a slow death with the advent of these cloud-based models that are around the world. So they're looking at what are the options, and you know, to come to eXp or to join eXp Realty as a member, you are in your own business. So if it satisfies that need for agents who want to operate their own business, you can be your own brand. So you're out there in your marketplace as your own business, as your own brand, without the setup costs, without all the technology subscriptions that you normally have to do, and all of the admin staff and support team that you would have to hire. So that's one of the first things, you know, just that simple aspiration to open your own business is one of the first reasons that people will look at our model.
Absolutely. I remember the day vividly, Tony, when I wanted to buy into an office and business. I had to rock up with a big bag full of cash almost to get skin in the game, to be a listing and selling principal and to have that illustrious title of a director. And most, sales agents, the natural progression path is to become the listing and selling principal, obviously to have ownership in something, equity, some skin in the game, but ideally also to have the ability to increase potentially the commission split and your commission structure, because if you are the boss, you generally keep the most. So our model eliminates the duffel bag where you need the cash to buy into something. You can pay a nominal subscription fee to be part of our model, which we'll dive into in a moment. But as Tony mentioned, our model is it's really for independent agents that want to collaborate still, whether it be with our brand or with your own brand. We're a cloud-based model. You can work from anywhere. Most of our agents, Tony and I, we're working from home. So when we're not working, most importantly, we're around and with our loved ones more so than at the office. On that note, there's no pressure of being in an office with all those KPIs that can come attached with an office environment. But you do have to be self-motivated, and talking to a lot of agents when they ask me, what's the disadvantages of eXp, Chris? And I say, look, it's one of a few, really. One, if you are an employee mentality and you're not entrepreneurial, it's probably not the right fit for you. Our model truly is for entrepreneurs that want to go into business for themselves, yet not go into business alone. You have to be self-motivated because working from home can bring complacencies. It's quite easy to go sit on the couch and watch a bit of Netflix and chill. But maybe those that need that office environment, it might not be suitable. They like the water cooler conversations, the catch up on the Monday mornings. We do collaborate. We just do it all. What you do in an office environment, we do exactly the same. We just do it online. We meet with a lot of agents that want to reduce their costs, their overheads, because as Tony mentioned, owning an office, being part of an office can get very expensive. Australia is an expensive place to own and operate a business, most certainly. So we find agents come to us because they like the fact that we're very nimble in our costs and investment to be part of our model, but they have the ability to increase their commission splits from being a lot higher than a lot of traditional environments because we don't have all the burden of those overheads. So what we save through being nimble and online, we pass those savings directly onto the agent by, reducing their costs to operate, but also increasing what they actually take home in their commission splits. There's also additional income streams that you can earn through eXp outside of commissions, which we'll jump into in a moment as well. But Tony, let's talk about subscriptions and tools, right? So what are the two ways I can come into eXp as a transactional agent?
Yeah, so you're one of two things in all of our states in Australia. You're what we may refer to as a fully licensed agent, where you've got that top tier license, or you're a secondary level agent where you're only operating as an employee within a business. You haven't got that full license. Both of those agents, either of those licenses or certificates that you may have able to join eXp, just depending upon which one you have as to how you join. That fully licensed agent, if that's you, you're able to join independently. You're what we refer to as an independent contractor, and you're able to brand with any brand that you have pre-existing, or you can be branded eXp. You talk about things like when are you paid? So as an independent contractor, you're paid day of settlement, or if you're in Victoria, you're paid day of Section 27 release. If you're a second tier or second level of license, you're paid, you come into our model as a commission-only employee. You're paid twice a month, depending on what settlements have happened in that previous 14 days. So quite quickly. If you're a commission-only employee, we do contribute from your commission to your superannuation, and we deduct tax on your behalf. If you're the independent contractor, you're given all of your income and you're dealing with your own superannuation and tax at the end of the year. So both ways, both types of licenses, you have a stream to enter our business. With the commission-only employees, we do have to comply with the Fair Work MITRE arrangements. More detail on that if you contact us, if that's you. But both are able to join our model.
Absolutely. So the offering and the subscription service that we provide to agents doesn't change, whatever way you come in, whether it's a commission-only agent or as an independent contractor, which I am. As an independent contractor, you can just be a simple sole trader with an ABN. You can be a company entity or a proprietary limited. But yeah, the advantage is there. I guess the only difference as a commission-only agent, because you're falling under our licensing, you branded as eXp Realty because we're technically employing you. If you come on board as an eXp Realty independent contractor, you can choose to be branded eXp Realty as I've stayed eXp Realty. I haven't gone out and created my own independent brand because I wanted to leverage not just being a local business, but I wanted to leverage the power of this model being national and actually global, as we mentioned, in 27 countries opening in 2025. If you do want to go out and be your own brand, you can choose to do that as an independent contractor, and you can just leverage from all our back end support. And essentially, all you're doing is you're using eXp Realty to take care of all your support, your administration, your finance, your trust accounting, all of that stuff, which we'll dive into in a moment. So, if I come in as an independent contractor or commission only agent, what is the investment from me as either option, Tony, on a monthly basis?
Yeah, so you're going to experience the same level of support and training and technology, either one. The investment from you is $250 plus GST per month. There's a
Mhm.
$250 plus GST joining fee. That's it. That's our subscription each month, 250 plus GST for either that independent contractor or commission only employee.
So 275 total, including GST, for me to plug my business in and have all the support that comes with eXp Realty. So a very modest investment, folks. Whether you sell one home a month or 20 homes a month, 275 is a very nimble cost. So with that 275, Tony, what do I get? Like let's start with, let's talk about systems first. So what systems do I get? Because mate, I sell 40, 50 homes a year pretty consistently. I've done so in the last 10 years. So for 275, what level of systems do I get in
Yeah.
tech?
And for anyone that's selling 40 or 50 homes, 20, 50, 100 homes, you're going to need some support. And if you were in an office, you'd have admin and sales support and things like that. You have the same experience with us. We have all of our support team to look after your listings going live, contracts being managed, settlements being done, payments made to vendors, and monies received from buyer deposits, things like that. You've got systems in place like our CRM tool with Agent Box. You've got your data and your proposals, digital proposals with RP Data. We subscribe to all the portals in every state, so your REA and domain throughout all the states. You've got forms for your authorities, your contracts, statement of information in Victoria, those sorts of things. Form 6 in Queensland, all of those forms. You've got access to a subscription for that. You've got an access to subscriptions for vendor funding, for marketing, staging, improvements at the vendor's home. So that funding service is available. You've got document exchange through Secure Exchange and bank account detail exchange, things like that. So everything you need to go out and list and sell real estate, all those things you've had in wherever you've been or wherever you are at the moment in that traditional office setup, whatever you use daily in order to do your job, you have from that 250 plus GST subscription every month.
Absolutely. And just small things I want to point out, folks, is I was talking to an agent just yesterday, Tony, and I showed him a bit of our CRM, and they were like, "Oh, so you can load your own open times, and you can change the property price, and you can do this within the listing." I said, "Yeah." And they said, "In my office, we have to go to the administrator to
Mm.
upload what open times we want, or if there's a price change, we've got to tell them." Pretty much all they can do is access their contacts. They can't actually change anything. So, folks, we give power back to the agent, right? It is your business. You are the business owner here. We are just the back end support to make all the magic happen for you. So you have full control. So anything you want to do in your database, you can do, right? Whether it's changing a price, uploading an open inspection, whatever it might be.
Yeah,
Um,
changing photos, whatever it is. The only thing that we step into is the point it's going to go live.
yeah,
Your listing's checked on your behalf by the licensee in each state for
yep.
compliance. So, there's someone else that is there to support you to make sure that things are in the right spots and complying with those state laws. After that, you've got complete control as to, what photos you want as the main photo, what script you're going to change to and things like that. But you've got that back end support to make sure that everything's in the right spots in the CRM, going to go live in the correct manner, and obviously be seen by the public and be in line with what your vendors expect.
And on that note, Tony, I'm very proud that we are the first model of the likes in Australia that have, within our membership agreement, crossed out all those little intellectual property clauses that come very commonly known in our industry. We've crossed out all those restraint of trade clauses. So proudly, folks, and we're very proud to put this on show and show anybody that's watching this that if you want to look at our membership agreement before moving anywhere, because I know sometimes when an agent moves, they don't actually know what's within the agreement until that time, when it comes time to moving, that they look into it and there's all this, I don't get my data. All those years of building up the data, I don't get that. All those sold results I've built up over years, they stay with wherever I'm at the moment. With our model, folks, proudly, we tore up all those little industry clauses. So if anyone ever wanted to leave us for whatever reason, we give them their data. We give them their sold results. We're not a data acquisition. We're not an intellectual property business, which I think is a huge point of difference in our industry. And we can do it proudly because we walk the talk. We back up what we say was exactly what we do. Because if we don't uphold as we promise, well, we miss out. We lose out. You don't lose anything though as the agent.
And the other really important factor there, we talked about, contracts and taking out those industry clauses that, stifle you. Your contract with eXp is a month-by-month contract. So there's no 12 months,
Yes.
nothing like that.
Yes.
And, you've got this recording. Come back to everything we talk about today. We can't hide from several of these recordings on our YouTube channel in different variations. But what we say here, you hold us to. It's in your contract. It's a month by month. That 275. If for whatever reason you do choose to leave, that money's stopped that month, and you're taking all your data, all your intellectual property, and we're parting ways in the best possible way, because you're our client, not your vendors. You can go off and conduct your business should you choose to.
Absolutely. So, mate, so that's great. So 275 a month, either as an independent contractor or a commission-only agent. I get all my CRM, my online forms, home pass, RP data, secure exchange, everything we need to transact a property and list and prosper. What sort of investment is required when a property settles? So when the home does settle, is there any administration or file keeping or transaction fee?
There's a few things that happen, and I'm sure for all agents, when speaking with vendors, you're talking about the costs. The vendors want to know the costs. You have your commission cost for your vendor, and that's between you and your vendor. We don't get involved in conversation around commission. You have your marketing cost to your vendor, and again, that's depends on your marketplace. Perth's different to Sydney, and Dubbo's different to Adelaide. Everyone does the marketing of what they want to do in their marketplace. Your marketing is an upfront cost from within eXp for your vendors. So we've got that funding option available for them. So that's the marketing. The last fee is a transaction fee. So there's a $550 transaction fee payable at settlement for each vendor. Nearly all of our agents pass this fee on to the vendor, and it's separated on the authority to make sure that the vendors, that's disclosed to vendors, but that's paid just on settlement. Should the property withdraw, it's not a payable fee, but vendors obviously are paying their marketing, and you've got the absolute control over what they do in marketing as to what size their board is, how many photos, whether you're having a floor plan, all those things are your control.
Excellent. So that's a good point that I just want to touch on again further as well. We don't have retainer remuneration offerings within eXp because we give such a high commission split back to our agents. So this is why we say You know, we are an entrepreneurial model, not a PAYG type mindset model. And we don't carry any vendor paid advertising debt till settlement. But in saying that, we've got options. Your client can either pay it up front. We do have vendor paid advertising, a supplier that can fund all your campaign, your styling. They can even carry, if you want to sell an investment property vacant without the tenant in there, they can help the landlord still get that weekly rental income that they're used to. So you can have the flexibility as an agent to ideally sell a vacant investment property as well. So we've got options there. You've
Chris,
mentioned,
you touched. Sorry, you go ahead.
yeah, go mate, go. No, yeah.
You touched on larger commission splits, and if you do join eXp,
Yes,
you're joining a company of nearly 90,000 agents, and the company has no debt. So
yeah.
power of that and the power of not having any debt, not carrying that marketing allows us to pay quite a much larger commission split than any other model in the world. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's a great point, mate. So all our agents are on a 75% commission split, up to $100,000 in gross commission income within their work anniversary year. So if you start, Tony, in 1 January 2025, your anniversary is to 1 January 2026. As soon as you write $100,000 within that 12-month period, you're on a 75% up to $100,000. Once you hit $100,000 in your work anniversary, we put a cap. We call it the industry cap, where you, as the industry agent, no longer pay out on every settlement and every transaction endlessly, and you keep 100% of every commission once you reach that threshold of 100,000 GCI in your work anniversary year. And it's an incredible opportunity because we have many agents who are relishing being on 100% for 6, 7, 8, 9 months of the year. And you have the opportunity to directly influence, based on your performance. 100,000 in GCI is about 10 sales or less these days. So if you're an agent who's doing somewhere between 7 and 10 sales or more a year, you're going to enjoy the fruits of 100% commission more so than not.
So simple two-tier, 75% up to 100, 100% above.
Exactly.
And for anyone that is in an office environment now and experiencing somewhere around the 30s, 40% commission, this is pretty much double. And then moving to 100%, so an enormous reason for why many agents do join eXp. We were talking earlier about reasons people come. Money in our pockets. That's a pretty simple one, and it's what makes the world go round, and it's certainly what appeals to our agents. And as Chris said, we've got agents that have capped within 6 or 7 weeks. And after that, they've got the rest of the year at 100% commission. They've still got all of the services we provide, all of the support. So a bit more on the support when you talk about going through the listing process, just to introduce those few areas that agents will come into contact with for support. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. And just finally on those numbers too, though, if you're watching this live or as a replay right now, whatever you're writing every year, just subtract $28,300 because that's all you'll pay as a maximum with our model, right? So the $25,000 goes to eXp up to that $100,000, and the $275 a month that you pay for a 12-month period is $3,300. So whatever you write, whether it's 300,000, $500,000, $1 million plus, just subtract $28,300 from it. That's what you keep. And that's why we train and coach and mentor not on turnover, but it's based on what you actually take home. Now, based on those numbers though, what level of support do you get? So again, I'm going to speak hypothetically as a transactional agent, still myself on the ground right now, Tony. When I get a listing authority sign, I load it up into the cloud. Our listing team takes care of processing that listing authority for me. So whether that's providing the sale agreement to the client, sending it out to them with comparable market analysis report and a marketing invoice, but we have a listing processing team no different to somebody on front desk that you're used to doing it for you at reception or in an office environment. Once I get the property on the market, so as we said earlier, I can change the photo, the text, the price at free will within the CRM directly at any time. But once I execute a contract on the property, again, we load it into the cloud. Everything that you're maybe used to in an office environment, putting in a physical tray, we do exactly the same. Instead, we're just loading the documents into the cloud. And our support team will process the contracts out to the relevant parties, whether that's conveyancers, solicitors of the likes, whatever it might be. We have a finance and a trust accounting team. So our finance team will take care of paying suppliers. So I don't have realestate.com billing me for every listing that goes live. I don't have signboard suppliers billing me and invoicing me, or photography team or brochures. Everything gets invoiced to our finance team, and they will directly pay the suppliers on my behalf, which for me, Tony, I no longer have to employ accounts payable and receivable people on my payroll books, right? So that's a huge saving to my business. We also have a finance team that take care of the commission payroll run. So each fortnight, when our commission only agents are paid, they pay those agents, they take care of their tax and superannuation obligations, but also they pay me as an independent contractor. I had a settlement last week on a Thursday. The money was in my account on the Thursday night, which is great for cash flow purposes as a business. We have a trust accounting team. So that team for each of the states that we operate in takes care of our trust accounting obligations. So any deposit funds that are received for properties are receipted by that team and provided to all the relevant parties. Any marketing funds that are received is taken care of by a trust account department. So I no longer, Tony, need to have sleepless nights of who's tapping into my trust account. Has that been reconciled, that transaction? Did that receipt go out in the required time frame or not? All of that is taken away from me. But as Tony also mentioned, and you can touch on this a little bit more, licensee support. What does that look like, Tony, from a compliance support, coaching, mentoring point of view?
Yeah, so in each state you have licensees who support the agents in that state, and they're available for any questions, whether it be compliance questions, selling and listing and selling questions. There's no end to the support that you're going to get. That goes further into training sessions that are available for you. So as an agent that's coming into an independent model, you're virtually working on your own. It's where do you go to for more information, more support, more training? Well, we hold live training sessions multiple times a week, every week. You'll be hearing from the best in our company, what we call our icon agents. Every fortnight there's an icon session where those agents are freely giving up all of their knowledge, all of their information that they have that's got them to the stage that they're at in their careers, and giving that up to our agents that are throughout Australia in order to help them improve. So there's huge collaboration between our team and lots of training available. New technology and new systems that come into play, new compliance regulations that come into play. We'll develop training sessions for them, live sessions where all of our agents can join in from whatever state or nationally, depending on the issue, so that they can gain some support and some training and some information about that as quickly as possible. So all of that's available. We're holding 9 or 10 conferences next year across Australia and New Zealand that agents are able to attend. So, whether it's live in-person conferences, they'll be available next year, but we've got a lot of training available virtually every day of the week, and certainly each week to help an agent improve their listing and selling, and that's what it's all about.
Collaboration, most certainly our most powerful tool, Tony, and I've absolutely thrived because of it. I know there's other hybrid models out there that I looked at myself where they open up, independent offices as such and do all the support similar to what we do, but they're their own little silo offices, right? And they don't really talk or interlink or help or collaborate. Whereas our model, one of the things for me is I love evolution. I love being at the forefront of what's happening and unfolding in our industry, which is happening at a lightning pace these days. But the only way to stay at the front of the evolution is through collaboration and training. And since 2019, I've attended just about every training session that's free, complimentary. And again, folks, you can bolt on to as many sessions as you like. Or we have agents that we might just see them on one session a month. Again, it's your business. Take from the training, support, mentoring, and guidance we provide as little or as much as you like. Mate, we're coming up
Just
30
on that,
minutes.
I just want to touch on that one of the things that people do ask me that are joining, and we haven't mentioned it before in any of these, but I was asked yesterday by an agent,
Okay.
are there any restrictions to where I can operate a
Oh,
farm
great
area?
point.
No,
Yes.
we haven't touched on this before, and it just reminded me.
Yes.
someone, no farm areas, no restrictions, no
Yep.
borders. You can list or sell houses anywhere you have a license to. So,
Yes.
we have agents, we have multiple agents in similar suburbs or similar areas. A lot of them work together, share listings, cover each other for opens when they're on leave or whatever it may be, but you have absolutely no limitation as to where you can operate. So that's, one of the things I know, having been in offices where you've got areas where you're not allowed into certain parts of a suburb because your colleague's got that part of the suburb, and all of that story is all, there's certainly no limit or restriction to where you can operate.
Mate, and take me back to the beginning of this session is when I rocked up with that duffel bag of cash to buy into being a business owner, selling principal and director. I was buying a territory, right? I was buying a
Yeah.
geographical area with that
Yeah.
had boundaries, restrictions on where I could operate and where I couldn't operate. So that's a great point. Now, talking about the entrepreneurship, being a business owner, some other perks that we'll just touch on real lightly because we like to keep these sessions as short as possible but impactful. Property management. So this is definitely a pillar for an agent's retirement. So a lot of industry agents are often referring their property management leads to where they might work or externally, maybe for a letting fee, whether that's 1 or 2 weeks, but they don't actually own the asset, which is where all the value lies, right? I mean, some rent roll books are going at a $3,500, $4,000 multiplier per management. So this is another pillar we've created in collaboration with another cloud-based hybrid model in the property management space, where we have 4 options that you can tap into, whether you're licensed or not, relevant in the geographical location or not, whether you want to just build it and do the BDM side of things with property management, but you don't want to do, you don't want to be a property manager on the ground. You don't want to do those ingoing, outgoings, routines, tenant maintenance, management, all of that. We now have the pillar that irrespective of your license or geographical location requirements, we can actually help you to start building and owning your property management and rent roll asset with our model from day one. And the best part about it, there's no cost for this option for you to add it onto your business. Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to us. Sorry, mate. Yep.
So I just, we're talking about building an asset, and we don't talk a lot about revenue share in our previous explains, but this is our last one for the year. So revenue share is a incredible opportunity for agents joining eXp. So Chris, just as simply as we can explain, give us a revenue share explanation.
Absolutely. So agents would be familiar with a broker's finance trail, right? It's no different with our revenue share program. So this is a global program that all eXp Realty agents and members can tap into. And again, it's not profit share. It's not part of the bottom line. It's part of the top line revenue that we achieve globally as a company. Our revenue is in excess of $2 billion a year. Just last year alone in 2023, nearly $250 million was redistributed out to our agents and members as part of the revenue share program and the Icon program that's available to us. Essentially, what happens is if you bring agents into eXp, the revenue share program goes 7 layers deep. So if you are a team builder, a team leader, you want to build an organization, but perhaps you don't want all the payroll tax and all the things that come with actually having to physically employ people, you can tap into this program. It's been an incredible opportunity for me. It gets paid to me on the 21st of every month by eXp directly. And essentially, it's a legacy. So if anything were to happen to me, I can pass it on to my wife. We can pass it on to our children. It's transferable as a legacy, passive income opportunity for life. So again, it's just like a broker's finance trail. The existence of that loan being in place, that broker gets a trail. Well, it's no different for agents that I bring in, help them succeed in our model, collaborate with them. I'm not their boss though. I'm not there to tell them when to start, when to finish. I'm just there to collaborate and help them find success in our model. If I do that and I'm a team builder and I'm building my own organization, eXp remunerates me every month for that opportunity.
So to put a finer point on it, for someone that you bring into eXp, that person's in what we call your downline.
Yep.
They're out there transacting, and that person could be in another state, in another country. There's no limit.
Correct.
Person's out there transacting. Each month, whatever that person settled, you as their recruiter into our model is paid a percentage of the company's portion of the company income from their transactions forever.
Got 'em. Yep. Doesn't come out of
That's to
the
put it in a
agent
nutshell.
split. Yep, doesn't come out of the agent split. Comes out of the company's revenue. 50% of all our revenue, Tony, goes back out to our agents and members as part of being involved in this
So
community.
that $25,000, Chris, that the company keeps of that first 100, half of that goes back out
Correct.
to the agents.
Yep.
That have been involved in the recruiting and building of the company around the world.
Spot on. Yep. Let's touch on the last item, and that's the Icon program and employee share. What can you enlighten us on the Icon program, Tony?
So the Icon program, again, an incredible opportunity. So for agents that reach Icon status, and that's a particular amount of transactions, which is capping plus 20 transactions, I think is the simplest way to explain it, is one avenue, or 750 GCI is the other avenue. Agents who achieve that in their anniversary year, in their 12-month period, are gifted $15,000 of eXp shares. That amount's come out of the 25,000. It's not out of revenue for the agent. It's come out of the 25,000 eXp is earned. 15,000 of it's given back. An additional 6,000 can be given back to the agent for participating in training and support of our fellow agents, which they all do incredibly. So as much as $21,000 of the 25 that you'd pay to eXp as part of the commission split, as much as 21,000 can be given back to the agent in that year. So for agents like Chris, I think 3 or 4 times in a row, 3 or 4 years in a row, Chris is iconed, which means that, you know, that all of that amount has been given back to him. And so for those icon agents, they're almost at a zero cost base of operating their business. I know we got one agent recently in Queensland who, you know, with the icon shares, with rev share, he's actually making a profit running his business without any cost. Just an incredible opportunity.
Absolutely. And we, as an Icon agent myself, Tony, I can log into my Okta account. I can see live at any time what my share portfolio is doing. And it's managed by Morgan & Stanley as our financial auditor. Everyone would know how massive Morgan & Stanley is. But again, this is just another pillar, like commissions, like property management, like shares and equity. I've got, you know, the opportunity to have ownership in this model that I can cash, trade, sell and buy at any time. I've got, you know, the revenue share program. So this is where it's creating 5 or 6 different pillars for the everyday transactional agent like you and I, not just to list or die, but to actually have 5 or 6 pillars or highway towards our retirement plan. Mate, on that, we've got an employee sacrifice program. So think of it like, you know, salary sacrificing. You can contribute 5% of your commission income. So some agents will do this when they're at 100% commission because maybe it's tax problems or whatever it is, you're earning so much. They put a sacrifice of 5%. So they're on 95% because the 5% goes and buys additional stocks at a 5% reduction in purchase price. So think of that just like salary sacrifice. Shares for me, Tony, it's a bit like superannuation, right? Our super goes up, our super goes down. It's same as our share portfolio. But the main thing is there's a couple of different portfolios here towards one's retirement.
But that's a voluntary opportunity. So 5% salary sacrifice for a 5% discount, completely voluntary. But another way that, you know, you're instantly making a 5% profit on those shares because you've been given a discount. I think we've covered nearly everything. There's obviously a lot of, there's so much more coming in 2025. If you've watched it today and you've missed a few things or want to hear them again, it's on Facebook Live, so the recording's there forever. It'll be on our YouTube page later today, our YouTube channel. So, you know, if you want to go back through this recording and just slow down, take some notes, get back to us and ask us any questions. You know, I think...
And we'll also... We'll also link in some of our resource pages that we've got that you can jump in privately, confidentially in your own time, and you can jump in and rehash on some of this stuff. I mean, there's the eXp Realty Luxury program we haven't touched on, but there's 56 different global luxury portals you can tap into if you're a luxury agent, including the Wall Street Journal, obviously. We've got Regis office locations that you can tap into. So maybe that agent that wants to go into the office a couple of times a week, you can do that. But what we'll do is we'll link those resources so you can just jump on our pages. I mean, there's even a calculator on there, Tony, where you can actually privately type in your own numbers, what you wrote, maybe a good time of years right now as we're at the end of 2024. Plug in your own numbers, what commission split you're on right now, what your franchise or royalty fees might be, and what the difference will look like if you plug those same numbers into our model into 2025. We will
Yeah.
link all those resources to this content.
Look, and you've touched on a few additional things. If you want more, just call us, ask us one more, and we'll just give you more. We can't cover everything in this one session. There is so much more that we provide as part of the model, but you've got the big chunks today, and certainly Tony Fanfuller, Chris Jansen. I don't know that we're very hard to find. If you Google us, we'll Google eXp, you'll find us. Send us an email, pick up the phone, give us a call, and we will speak to you and give you as much information as you want.
Or reach out to one of our members and current active agents and hear it from them. Don't shop us, shop our agents and members and see how they're finding the model. Or if somebody has referred you to this session that's already an existing member, make sure you go back to them, because there are sponsorship requirements as part of coming into eXp Realty that only your sponsor can help you understand. That's maybe directed to your session. But whatever you do, folks, have a fabulous Christmas, a joyous, festive. Hopefully you get some time to switch off, be present with your loved ones. We'll be back doing these sessions from the 7th of January, which is Tuesday, Tony, as normal. We'll be kickstarting these sessions as normal. So thanks for your time, folks.
Thank you.